Today's Pack-a-Punch broadcast is presented by Vesta Nutra. Vesta Nutra, where we can help make sure all your supplements pack a punch.
Hello, welcome to the Pack-a-Punch podcast. My name is Val Richard. I am here with the fabulous Mr. Richard Pinner.
Hey, how you doing, kids? This is Rich talking to you from Vesta.
And I hope there are not really kids listening, because that would be kind of weird if they are really interested in supplements.
Well,
but okay, if you
young
want
at heart. You young at heart individuals.
Okay, all right. Well, here we are, Richard. It's a new day, and got a lot of election happenings. Nothing's 100%, but we're well on our way. And
Indeed.
it's going to be interesting. It's going to
Yes,
be a
it is.
very interesting couple of months, and I don't know. We'll just see what happens.
Politics are politics. They're
Yes, they are.
always interesting and provocative.
And here we are trying not to talk about it.
Correct. So we'll just let whatever chips fall
That's
where
right.
they fall.
That's exactly right. Well, anyway, we've got the election. We've still got pandemic going strong. Woo, pandemic.
Yeah, been in the pandemic. The weather's turning colder, so there's a lot of alarm in regards to the flu cycle and the flu season coming into perspective.
Well, it's kind of funny because here in Indiana, the weather is not getting colder.
I
It's
know.
actually super warm. It's
Sunday,
been
80 degrees.
Yes, over the weekend. I was putting up Christmas lights in 80-degree weather, sweating.
Hey, holiday sign, 80 degrees, Christmas is near.
And then after we got the lights up, I saw a family walking in the neighborhood, just taking a stroll through the neighborhood, looking at our lights. I thought, it's not very often you get to take a stroll and look at Christmas lights on a walk.
In a pair of Bermuda shorts.
Right.
And a light chemise. Yeah, it's in Indy, 5 minutes, anything can happen. I mean,
Yeah, it's true.
try 50 degrees, and then all of a sudden it's one below and a wind chill
Yes.
of minus 20.
And then people who are sensitive to the weather changes, oh goodness, sneezing and all the junk that goes with that. It's just crazy. But,
Hey, some good news, though. Pfizer just made a super announcement which pushed everybody into an excited mode that they
Yes.
almost got a vaccine that's going to be the end-all be-all to help fight this COVID.
well, some people would say the end all be all. I don't know. I don't know about the vaccines. It's not, anything political for me. I just get a little worried about a brand new vaccine that, hasn't.
Normal clinicals are 5 years.
Yeah,
this
right.
is like less than 1 year.
Right.
And I wonder who the people are that are testing that. Will we ever see them again?
I don't have anything really against the vaccine. I'm just a little bit leery, and I've always liked to stick to the natural supplements anyway. So I think I'm gonna stick with that for a while and kind of let this play out. It's sort of like a new operating system on your Apple phone.
Oh.
Do you really want to buy an Apple phone the first day it comes out?
Not unless somebody's paying for it.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. It's an interesting scenario, and I just, like you say, from just history, things that come too quick sometimes aren't so good.
Yeah. It's a little concerning, but I think I'm going to stick with, I read a very interesting article this morning, actually, about vitamin K2, which is one of the products we sell here at Vesta, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And it was talking about the benefits with COVID. And I thought, well, that's interesting because I haven't heard anything about immunity or anything like that with MK7, vitamin K2. But it's not necessarily immunity, but what it does is it builds the strength in your lungs and in your heart, and all of that kind of stuff those are I think they call them comorbidities with COVID. And so I found that very interesting to think that we should be, strengthening our lungs and our heart, and it's not really immunity, but it still has something to do with stupid COVID. So.
Yeah, the COVID is like the code word for 2020 and beyond.
It is.
2020, COVID.
So speaking of 2020 and COVID and pandemic, we know that we've been experiencing some issues here at Vesta with, actually, we haven't really experienced them ourselves. I think we've had a few supply chain issues, but for the most part, we've just been hearing a lot. I know on the West Coast, they're having a lot of issues with manufacturing, and I think thankfully, we haven't had those kind of issues. I know it's been a little difficult to get some maybe lids or some certain bottles, or there's been a few things, but we have not had anything
I think you're
slowed down, or we haven't missed any orders because of supply chain issues.
25 years plus in the community. We have been able to garner and manifest some of the best relationships on a global basis. So our supply chain impact hasn't been like many. We have we don't have all our eggs in one basket, which provides us an opportunity to exercise a lot of different channels to ensure that we get the quality and the supplies that we need in order to distribute and manufacture the kind of supplements and nutraceuticals that we do.
Right. So there are a few little tricks and tips that I think we could offer for getting the best out of your supply chain and being ready for things. One of those, I know low MOQs are very popular, and that's a great way for people to enter the nutraceutical community and everything. But truthfully, if you can order bulk products, big orders, if you can order a quarter's worth of your product instead of just a couple of thousand or something, if you get enough for 3 to 6 months and up your order quantity, that's going to help you with supply chain issues, because you're going to get it all at once. You're not going to have to wait on it for two orders.
And I think, but you should tell people what is an MOQ, because that's like, what is an MOQ?
Oh, sorry. Well, that would be a minimum order quantity.
You betcha.
And so people like low MOQs because it's going to be better on your wallet. But truthfully, in this day and age with the supply chain issues that people are having, if you can order 3 to 6 months worth of stuff, you're going to be better off. It's a safer route. It might cost you more up front, but truthfully, in the end, it will cost you less, because the more you get, the better the price you get.
But still, those startups just don't have the capital, unfortunately, to actually go that deep. So the low MOQ factor that we're trying to initiate here at Vesta is kind of a pilot program, and I think it's something that we are proud to be able to at least exercise a little bit of activity in. But yeah, the MOQ factor in the communities is always going to be a big deal. But like you said,
Right.
If you can go big volume, big savings.
Right. Of course, whatever your product is, if it was an immunity product, you'd be a lot more well served if you could get 3 to 6 months, because in this pandemic that your immunity product is going to be going.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
going to be hot.
If you're doing beta-glucan and 1,3-D, or if you're doing some Croydon, you don't want to order a teaspoon. You want a barrel, because this cycle, if we're lucky, will be over, hopefully, God willing, in the summer or sooner, because, let's be real. The demand is high.
Yeah. Well, let's hope so. But I guess I'm coming back to it again. If there's a way that you can increase your order size, that's going to serve you better for, if you can find a warehouse to store it in, or, I don't know, in your living room.
Yeah.
Find a place to store that.
Yeah. Honey, the garage is full. But, somebody that's never been through this, what do you think they should expect? What's your spin?
As far as supply chain goes?
No, supply chain, and the COVID format. What's John Q. Public looking at, and what's going to be something that they should probably try to anticipate?
Well, first of all, let me just say hi to John Q. Public. Hi, John.
Hey, what's going on?
I would expect John to, it's going to depend on if he's a startup, if he's a medium size, if he's a big company that is well established. All of these things make a difference, because they make a difference in your quantity. They make a difference in what you're actually ordering, your ingredient. We've got some experience here in the last 6, 8, 9 months, and we really haven't had any shortages on getting ingredients, even from China, from all the many places that we work with. We've really not had any shortage on those. It's all going to depend on what you're looking for. I know zinc has gone way up in price. I know CoQ10 has gone way up in price, and these things are also a lot more difficult to get. So depending on what your supplement is, what it contains, that's going to make a big difference. Now,
in the midst of this supply chain challenge, I think the small to middle-sized businesses and little startups should try to find alternatives and multiple sources, and not put all their eggs in one basket. Like we here at Vesta, we have almost, I don't want to say a huge array of different sources, but we do have many different channels to get the product, ingredients, and services.
Right.
Like 25 years plus of service, we've garnered, like I said, and nurtured many relationships globally, which has been a plus for us.
Right.
When our search and our supply chain demands are strained, are challenged because of demand.
Right. We actually keep one of our products. It comes from a different country, and it is frozen and held in freezers in that company. In that country, and I think that's pretty cool because that allows our supply chain to be ready at any moment. We just call our it's our partner manufacturer in that country, and we just call them and say, "Hey, send us some more."
But that's
have it ready at any
being
time.
prepared.
Right.
Prepared. Understanding demand and trends is a big plus for us because we have the years of experience, and we can do a pretty good projection of what's going on.
Right.
With the pandemic, the model's changed to some degree, but I mean it's still business by supply and demand.
Right. I think it's important to look at data. Look at trends and look at your forecast. What do you expect? I'm familiar, just a little tiny bit familiar with a software program called Profit Phoenix. And you can use this program to analyze all kinds of different products. Like if you're wanting something for...
Are they paying you?
No, I'm not. But if you were wanting something for joint health, let's say, you could put in, the keywords to that, and it's going to do a search and see what's trending in that. And those kind of programs will help you figure out, your pricing, try to figure out the trends of things and what's selling the best and all that kind of stuff.
Well, knowledge is power.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think it's just important to dig in a little bit to that. Don't just think, oh, I've got a bright idea. I'm going to mix these 20 ingredients. I'm going to make this superpower capsule.
Oh, boy, do we get too many of those.
Yeah.
The laundry list. I think I'm going to put in everything I can imagine. Plus, I'm going to create a new drug.
Right.
It's really simple. In supplements and nutraceuticals, less is more.
Right.
Because we're talking a concentration of a very specific ingredient to help and cultivate immunity or good health.
Right.
It's not trying to put a complete football field on a team and go out there and address, we're going to kill the common cold. No, it doesn't work that way. We have R&D departments to develop and cultivate these things the best way so you get the best impact, efficacy, and just impact on your system.
Right.
And like I say, with the startups that come out with those laundry lists, to them I say, be careful how much you put in something and understand the dynamics of that.
We're talking about making sure you have enough inventory on hand and stuff like that. And a little tidbit for startups, if you didn't know this, you actually set your own expiration date on your product. It's not determined by the ingredient expiration date. It's not determined by the FDA. It's only determined by you. It's not even determined by your manufacturer. We actually send out a paper to our people and say, what date do you want to put on this? So you could put a best by date, you could put a manufactured by date, you could put an expiration date. It's completely up to you how you want to handle that. But the good news about that is you can order extra inventory and you've got a little bit of time, before it's going to go bad or get past a manufacture date or however you've labeled it. So you've got some time for that to be in storage,
Right, but let's not lead people on to believe that there are infinite timelines on these
Well,
products.
right, yeah, you wouldn't want to put 10 years or something like
Hey,
that.
I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna use that. My grandchildren will be selling this stuff. Give me a whole bunch of that.
On the flip side of that, it is actually possible to have too much inventory.
Quite.
And so you just have to be careful. And going back to those forecasting and trends and stuff, it's important to find that kind of stuff out.
You can never have too much information to make conscious, profitable decisions.
Right. And then you've got the dreaded regulations. Regulations are a pain in the neck. Let me just tell you that.
The regulatory. Hey, let's sell something in Vietnam. Well, hold on. There's got to be some paperwork here.
I'm sorry, you put the word "and" in there. I'm sorry. You're going to have to remake your box.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. But yeah, I tell you, regulatory formats, Wow. And that's what I think with a company like us, with the kind of experience, we can help a lot of the small companies walk through those minefields.
Right.
And guide them in the directions that make sense.
Right.
So they can expedite their rollouts and their product launch.
We don't consider ourselves at Vesta to be a huge, massive company, but the benefit of that is that we can help with things like regulations. We can stop the process and take the time to reach out to, whoever we need to reach out to find out the story. And our CEO too, Sam Kwan, he has got a ton of experience. He's got a lot of knowledge in his head.
Indeed.
And so that's an absolute benefit.
Those are the benefits of working with a company that's got a track record of success and develops and cultivates these relationships.
Yes.
When a small to, I would say, under $10 million size company, they want somebody that can help them through the process and educate them on formulation, or educate them on, like you said, the regulatory standards they need to go with.
Right.
So, I think today's message, I think, has been really, with the COVID thing, information is king. Being prepared is king with the supply chain demands and all the things that are coming down the pike, and the information of new formulations and virus protections through Pfizer. That's been good. Mm-hmm. But the overall message today is Vesta's got a plethora of experience that we want to share, and it's important that you work with those type of vendors.
Very true.
I think today's been wonderful. Val, what do you think?
I think it has been too. I just want to add in too, if you are a startup and you're outside of the U.S., it's very wise to go ahead and just Google those regulations. Google whatever country you're wanting to distribute to, and that's a great place to start.
Oh, yeah.
Just start doing some digging. And some of them are simple. Some of them there's no problems at all. Surprisingly, here in America, FDA is not regulating supplements, so
right.
it's pretty easy to.
It's a wild west here.
It's almost a little too easy to make one here.
As you know, as you go to a gas station, we got CBD here, you got chewing gum over here, and cigarettes up here.
Yes.
But knowledge is power, and working and involved with a company with that kind of knowledge usually make good decisions. And I say, hey, by the way, don't forget to check us out.
Yes.
On Facebook at Pack a Punch Podcast. We got some great stuff going, and we'd like to see and hear from you. So please reach out to us and let us know how you think about the show and what you feel. And if you need some information, give us a plug.
All right. Sounds great.
Well, it's been great, Val. We'll talk to you very soon.
All right.
Pack a Punch.
You've been listening to the Pack a Punch broadcast, brought to you by Vesta Nutra. If you like what you heard today, please share, like, and subscribe.